Welcome back to Nebulous Cast, everyone. Having another 3K 4v4 going on. I don't remember what the name of this map is, but before this game gets started, I'll let you guys know there was a resolution issue. I fixed it now, but it shouldn't impact most of the video you're going to be watching. But this game does have some pretty good moments in it, so we'll see those as they play out. Now, starting looking at the game, Orange team's doing a pretty wide spread. We have a bunch of people coming up, heading towards what maybe looks to be C. Then we have some of them going mid here. In a second, I will show us what the blue team is doing. One last look at the orange team. Seeing that they're mostly all in the top part of the map, near point D, point C. It looks like the Johnny Rico is looking at point E, I think it's down there. The Johnny Rico was in another game that we had, I think. Here we go, the game is finally starting. We have the FC in here, coming in with his light cruiser loaded out with, I think he has 5 MK64 250mm cannons. Looks like he also has some PK-20 defenders, which are going to be all machine guns, if I remember correctly. He also has a couple Wayne's class ships. Again, looking here, he also has a, what is it? The E-22 Pickard electronic support module on top there. Also, we have a blanket jammer on the ship, along with either a scrambler or a jammer, or signature booster or jammer. Can't tell from the outside of the ship. Moving on to the USRN. Looks he has 2 heavy cruisers here. Looking, he is having the MK66 and 68 cannons, double and triple barrel. Those are 450mm cannons. Looks like we have some MK62s with 120mm. We have some, looks like the MK25 rebounds. That's what those are. Machine guns to help defend against missiles. Continuing on, here we have a small, looks to be Wayne's class ship.
The enemy is securing zone boxer.
We have ourselves a Solomon class battleship here, supporting the railgun, but also being fired upon by the ANAL.
The enemy is securing zone Comet.
Yeah, so we have a heavy cruiser here having 281 and then 182 railgun. Those railguns do have an accuracy of a 52-meter spread at 20 kilometers, but if he does have a lock on, he will be able to get a better aim.
The enemy secured zone
Does
Dagger.
look like he's not getting
The
many
enemy is
shots
securing
on
zone
right now.
Eclipse.
We do have the missile squadron from the orange team. These are going to be a bunch of splinters. Looks like they have some machine guns. We see a V, I believe, 16 missile system. There.
The enemy
Posting a lot of
secured zone
missiles.
Boxer.
And what looked to be a MK64 cannon on that. Again, the battleship here for the blue team continuing taking fire. As you see here, it does take out one of its sensors, but does look to be maybe a jammer on the bottom of that. We do have a light cruiser squad here. Looks to be hosting some flak anti-missile, along with some MK64 cannons. Now we have laser pillar here, giving us some actual laser beams. We haven't seen these too often. We also have 2 torpedo bays and
The enemy secured zone Eclipse.
signature booster or jammer. Now, these lasers do some pretty incredible damage. They do about 180 centimeters of armor piercing every second they hit, so easily enough to pierce a battleship even with only 52 centimeters of armor. You do have a Gale missile coming out onto the Blue's battleship, the Ukrainian battleship. Does not look like it's going to do much again, only one ship, but that missile squadron for the Orange team definitely has more missiles than that. Does look to be a lock-on the front of that, so it does have a lock-on to hopefully give it better aim on those railguns. Moving on here, looks like there might be a confrontation between Orange light cruisers and the Blue team's fleet, but we will continue to see how that situation develops. So looking at as we have a break here, looking at the multiplayer games I've seen so far, it does look like light cruisers and missile squadrons are pretty popular. We do have some, what I think people are calling like spyglass thing, where you have like a lock-on ship and then a railgun battleship firing from afar. That's also a pretty popular strategy we're seeing right now. With the game still being so young, we're still seeing some strategies develop. I know the makers of the game want to add a carrier class, so we'll see how that changes up the game when it gets added. But the Blue team's light cruiser now being able to see the Orange's light cruisers now opening fire. The HMAS firing on those heavy cruisers, taking a pretty good beating. Now those MK64s are 250 millimeters. 60 centimeters of armor piercing is enough to pierce about 10 centimeters into that battleship. Now that railgun though will go right through. MK64s do have the advantage of a very fast reload, only 10 seconds, compared to a railgun with a base reload of 30 seconds. And that's probably about 6 MK64 cannons, which is going to be giving us over 80 shots a minute, which even for a heavy cruiser is a lot to take, including the railgun shots. Those railgun shots are going to do a lot of damage to those internals, while those MK64s will do more damage to those outside weapons. It is returning fire with those 450mm cannons, which will easily pierce through a light cruiser, hoping to probably land some hits destroying their power. But they do have a pretty good angle though. If they do get hit, it sucks, but it's a little bit harder to hit them. Fire coming in from the Orange team, still just pelting the Blue team. Orange team's missile squad still heading way up above the map. We have a couple missiles coming out from the maximum there. Just a couple Gale missiles. Probably won't do too much. If I remember correctly, these do have machine gun anti-missile systems. Railgun coming from Blue team, trying to hit the small Wayne's class ship. But look at the side of this heavy cruiser. It has been taking a beating coming from those MK64s. Weapons do not look like they're firing. They do have a reload of 20 seconds, but looks like they're unoperational, and all that smoke is pretty concerning for this heavy cruiser. That means there is some damage internally. We do have the fire coming out. I was mistaken, it does have a flat defense system. Railguns missing its shots, but fire still coming in on this heavy cruiser. We do have a couple Hurricane missiles coming from Laser Pillow, hitting that light cruiser. Each of those missiles all doing 1200 damage to whatever they hit. And that's a lot of damage for the internals of this light cruiser, some smoke there. Now Laser Pillow is pretty close, and he does have a railgun and those lasers. Again, those lasers doing a ton of damage. We do have a barrage of Gale missiles coming in at these heavy cruisers. With flak, probably not much going to be done. You're going to need a ton of missiles to do anything against that. And they're probably not going to run out of ammo. Most people carry an ample amount of ammo. And the only way the ammo is going to be destroyed is if the munition storage in the ship is destroyed. We do have an Aurora laser system here taking out some missiles. railgun hitting that light cruiser, piercing right through it. Probably not instantly destroying, but probably taking his internals to the yellow or the red. Now we have a huge barrage coming from Laser Pillar, multiple Thunderheads incoming, instantly destroying the HMS Slam. And more missiles being absorbed by it, not hitting the showdown, thankfully. That other ship taking the full brunt of that barrage. Continuing to fire what looks like almost heavy cruisers. Now, those missile ships are unloading what seems like a unholy amount of missiles onto this heavy cruiser. There are some anti-missiles coming out to help them. The flak starts firing. Look at that barrage continue to come down over and over. Over probably 40 missiles incoming. None of them really hitting. Looks like we got 2 hits there, but moving out of the way, it looks like those missiles are all missing. Thankfully enough, because that number of missiles would have killed that heavy cruiser. I don't know if there's any ship in this game that could take that many missiles. Still firing though, and completely missing their target. We do have an explosion down from the bottom coming from that dead light cruiser. Now, my only concern is the orange team just used up probably all of their missiles. You can only carry 16 missiles pretty much in any missile. Like any weapon system, only 16 missiles. So each of those are carrying 16 missiles. They use almost all of their missiles there. Look at that. I'm not going to count all of them, but you can if you guys want. But that was probably all of their missiles. Looks like another one of HMAS's light cruisers do go down. Not able to take the firepower of Laser Pillar, and the other blue ships. But now, what's interesting is the missile ships from the orange team are carrying what looks to be M64s, and those are 250mm, 60 centimeters. The Oxford Heavy Cruiser, no, that's a battleship. The battleship has 52 centimeters of armor. Not going to do too much damage, honestly. You can take a big pounding from those M64s before much is done, hitting the internal gut of that ship. This small ship just getting out of range of that explosion. We do have a barrage of air missiles coming in. Looks like they're trying to go around the asteroid here, but with flak, I don't think these heavy cruisers are gonna get hurt very much. And there goes the flak. Flak is almost a guaranteed defense unless you have as many missiles as we were shown earlier in this game. But those missiles are off target. With a couple of them, maybe would have hit, but close but no cigar. We do have blue team still coming from underneath. Good amount of orange team. Orange team is pretty spread out here. The missile squadron does look like to be closing in with this MK-64s onto that.
The enemy is securing zone Comet.
More missiles coming out. Looks like we do have some flak to defend. That railgun shooting doesn't look like it has a lock on, but is trying to aim in that general direction. We see those tiny holes are actually from the MK-64s. As we see, there's not really big damage. Again, with only 10 centimeters of armor piercing, not going to do too much. Now, the Johnny Rico here showing us an impressive amount of MK-68, 68 cannons. All those guns on that ship are 450mm and can do pack a serious punch. Being able to fire, let's see, we have 3 triples, 1 double, 369. That's 11 shots every 20 seconds, so that's about 33 shots a minute with 450mm rounds, so pretty good. Now the 450mm rounds, even though HE shots are able to pierce a battleship, 65 centimeters. Another explosion coming out. One of the orange team's ships. Pretty big explosion for a small ship, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. We do have some more firework flags stopping the missile barrage. Looks like there was a couple missiles left in that missile squadron. Looks like we do get a couple hits though on that battleship. Those missiles doing 12,000 damage, probably going to destroy or put into the red any internal organs they hit. Johnny Rico does have machine gun, flak, and Aurora laser systems covering all of his bases, making sure he is not going to be hit by any missiles. Johnny Rico doesn't look like his opening fire on laser pillar though. Now, for the blue team, I don't know how much lock on they have. We do see though that they're pretty tied in points. Blue has 2 and orange has 2.
The enemy is securing
These
zone
missile ships
common.
getting pretty close, opening fire onto that battleship again. Well, 1, they're missing, and 2, that battleship will be able to take that kind of fire pretty much all day. Eventually, it would succumb, but this ship is going to take their fire for pretty much the rest of the game and still keep going. Now, the battleship may have some trouble hitting with those ships being so small. It's kind of hard to hit them. Now, moving on, looking at the battlefield, we do see the orange team kind of going more on the aggressive, pushing more forward into the blues area. Sitting here, just getting a look at these MK-64s firing. See, there's some smoke, but that was
The
probably
enemy
caused by
secured zone
the
common.
MK-64 fire. Don't know the specific damage MK-64 does. I know the MK-62 does something like 15 damage. MK-64 is probably something like 30 or 40 damage. So, a decent amount of damage. But if he has a reinforced CIC, which is a command center, a reinforced magazine drive, he's probably fine. Magazine drives only have, if it's reinforced, only has like a 4% chance of blowing up, while a non-reinforced has like an 8 to 10% chance. So still pretty slim chance. Some missiles coming out from laser pillar, maybe trying to hit the Johnny Rico, but we do see his multiple anti-missile systems do activate, easily being able to take out the missiles of laser pillar. Continuing firing his cannons onto the blue team's light cruiser down there. That's a lot of firepower for light cruiser to take. They're not very good at taking that kind of firepower. It's going to punch all the way through, hitting any internal organs in its path. And coming from that up-down thing, if it hits the middle of that ship, it is going to go through probably 4 or 5 components, probably including his main, what's the word? The ammo magazine, there you go. Ammo magazine. He is also getting hit by that railgun from the side, so no room for him to evade. We do have a lot of missiles, Thunderhead missiles coming out, trying to hit for the looking glass. This is going to be the looking glass for that railgun ship that Orange Team does have. This is what I'm talking about, the spyglass strategy. Now, those are going to pretty much miss. There's a lot of missiles put in that assault and got not much done. Missiles are extremely valuable resource in this game if you guys do not play this game. Again, you only have like 16 missiles in each compartment, and honestly, again, they can do a massive amount of damage. Now, I mean, he does waste a couple of missiles, but if you run out of missiles, there's no point really wasting them. The Johnny Rico does finish off the FCN light cruiser again. Not much it could do. Looks like Laser Pillow is launching some Thunderhead torpedoes. His target going to be that what looks to be a Keystone Destroyer for the Orange team. Hoping to get a couple hits. We do have some repose missiles coming in to block those missiles. It looks like there is enough to block the assault from Laser Pillow. He is taking some damage. There's a Aurora laser system also, just solidifying his defense. and a second one too. Interestingly enough, the Aurora laser system does have a 30-second cooldown. So there is a moment where you could fire some missiles and then fire more, but what it looks like he did here is he had one on and manually then turn on the other. That is something you can do. So he does not have missile coverage from the Aurora laser system. If that is what he's doing, very well played. These guys, pretty much, the Orange Team missile squads are kind of just hovering around this battleship. They are faster than it, so the battleship cannot escape, and just kind of just firing pot shots. We do have what looks to be, I think that is a battleship or heavy cruiser from the blue team. Just out of range, it looks like. Well, not out of range, he's not going to hit very far. That is a heavy cruiser. So now I would say the 66 and 68 cannons, the triple and the double barrel for 50mm, their range is at 10 kilometers is an 87-meter spread, which is a pretty big spread. So we still have yet to see the lasers come out from laser pillow. Again, those lasers can do some serious damage to battleships, causing them to have to back up and repair, which looks like this battleship is doing. Or he's just getting out of the firing line. We see more gunfire being exchanged from the heavy cruisers and the Johnny Wico, or Wico. I don't know what she means. You see those shots coming in. He is taking some damage, but looks like he is using the dead bug as cover. Hopefully take some of those shots. As it is keeping up with the Johnny Wico. Inflammation. Just look at the side of that ship. That is taking an absolute pounding. Looks like his back gun is working, but it doesn't look like his bottom or top front gun are working, not moving. Now the whale gun coming in to try and help finish the job. Don't know how much more of this heavy cruiser can take.
The enemy is securing zone Eclipse.
Components in that front of that ship are probably completely gone. I don't know what a ship layout is, but he might have his magazines up there, or one magazine up there. Can't tell. His gun is there. His gun either just died or it's out of ammo. Again, his magazine could have been destroyed if he keeps it in the front of the ship. We do have Looking Glass, probably locking on from Laser Cube, doing some pretty good hits, now hitting the back of the ship. Direct shot in the middle. But there is the other heavy cruiser behind who does have functioning weapons. The ship is turning though. Maybe they wouldn't minimize the damage, probably just increase the damage at this point. We have the Nebuchadnezzar being shot at from the FCN's light cruiser. Pretty damaged itself,
the enemy
but
secured
still does have firing capability and torpedoes. Base torpedoes do 200 centimeters of armor-piercing damage and 5,000 damage, so if you can hit them, they're pretty good. Now, the Orange Team ship is going... Looks like its engines are dead, but it is still going full speed. Gonna ram into the Blue's light cruiser. Now, I do not know if any damage is done doing this. I don't think collision is something that is a big component in this game. But he does kind of knock him around. Doesn't really do much tactical stuff. Does look like the Ukrainian battleship has opened fire on these missile ships, taking out 2 of them, continuing firing those rear guns, easily doing some pretty serious damage to these ships. They are running away now that there's a threat to them. One of his railguns is not working though. Looks like there's some black smoke, which means it's probably permanently destroyed. Good shot
enemy is
there.
securing
Engine
zone
cutting
Boxer.
off. I don't know if he has any repair teams, but I think he does because this engine does kick back on here in a second. But white smoke means some pretty heavily damaged components, so it does kick back on. Another good shot on the spotlight, going straight through. Looks like it can still fire just a torpedoes now going out. Getting close to the Johnny Wicko, but no cigar. Again, those torpedoes is probably the fastest way if you want to kill a battleship. 4 of those torpedoes are going to pretty much incapacitate a battleship. Oh, sorry if you heard that. Just me getting my drink. The FGN Shame is now taking an absolute beating from the English team. Probably gonna die pretty quickly here. Johnny Wicko continuing to be pretty much unfazed this game. We do have the heavy cruiser though. Might be looking to get some damage done. Pew Pew is firing his railgun straight through FCN's light cruiser, which is pretty much already damaged. Not even, his gun's not even turning to his spawn. Probably not even functioning anymore. His crew might be dead too. We have some thunderheads coming from the laser pillar. Heading straight into this asteroid. Did not set a waypoint good enough for them that they might get around the asteroid and maybe
The enemy is securing Zone Dagger.
Orange team is about 200 points ahead of points. Pretty significant lead. Blue does look to be capturing B, which would give them an advantage. The Nebuchadnezzar hugging this asteroid for protection. Not wanting to be shot by one of these battle cruisers with heavy weapons.
The enemy secured Zone Boxer.
This Ukrainian heavy cruiser taking fire from the Bullseye Squadron. Again, it's doing some pretty minimal damage, but it's pretty annoying if you're trying to repair your ship. You can manually choose what to repair, but usually the auto is pretty good. Fall shoot pew pew kind of in the middle of the map. Does look like laser pillar is
The enemy
taking
secured Zone Dagger.
heavy fire from the Johnny Wicko. Those 450mm rounds will destroy that battleship very quickly, especially coming from up down, digging straight into the heart of that battleship. It does finally fire those lasers. Don't know what those lasers were hitting, but those lasers, whatever they hit, serious damage. Now I don't think those lasers can aim straight up, so that is a negative for them. Since they can't aim straight up, you'd have to turn his entire ship to be able to try and hit the Johnny Wicko above him. Johnny Wicko continue firing. Lasers going off again, shooting at fall pew pew. Oh, and got hit by some torpedoes. Those torpedoes doing 5,000 damage. That laser doing hundreds of damage a second. Laser pew pew is going to be out of this game very quickly. Look at that black smoke already emanating. Does not look like his weapons are even functional anymore at this point. He's going to be eliminated very quickly. Not in this game, but just at an astonishing pace from the blue team. More lasers. Those lasers, again, pretty much destroy whatever internal organ they hit. I don't think he has enough DC repair wounds. You have to have separate wounds called DC wounds to be able to repair your ship. I think those are probably destroyed also at this point. We did see some missiles being fired off. Laser Pillar is taking fire still while this is happening. Looks like he's trying to get some damage done before he succumbs to his fate. More mace torpedoes coming in.
Atlas.
Looks like he did repair the engine somehow, but the ship is dead. Doesn't last very far. Those 3 torpedoes together doing 15,000 damage themselves. I don't think any reinforced thing would survive that. But now Laser Pillow has to look his eyes to see if he can take out Johnny Wicko. The Ukrainian heavy cruiser with its MK-66 and 68 guns all going to look to maybe try to hit some of these small ships. Does get one hit, so that's pretty good, but it's kind of hard at that close range. At that close range, the cone is too small for those fast ships. They can't aim fast enough. Laser Pillow is out of this game. Johnny Rico was able to kill it with that continual fire.
The enemy is securing zone
Again, it's kind of
Boxer.
hard to tell the ship is dead. Oh, there goes Pew Pew in an explosion. Unless the ship explodes or the life pods come out, pretty hard. There is a sound that you can focus on, but if you're not listening for it, you're not going to really hear it. Orange Team is at 820 points right now, having a huge lead. They are taking B point back. This ship is... Well, the ship that did ram into it is dead, but that ship is blackened with damage. Looks like this ship's engines are on. I don't know if its railguns are operational or not. Johnny Rico looking undamaged this whole game. This has been a pretty scrappy game for most of it, but the Johnny Rico has stayed outside and has led its battleship firepower this entire game, contributing probably to the most damage for the Orange Team, which it will be cut off a little bit, but I will tell you what is on the other side. Looks like it's maybe trying to turn its guns to fire on the Johnny Rico. But Johnny Rico is just out of sight of the battleship. Well, looks like it is turning those guns, hoping to do some damage. Still being pelted by the Bullseye Missile Squadron. Oh, there are some hookup jammers on there. The one that looks like 3 prongs, that is a hang-up jammer. Sorry, it's a hang-up jammer. Again, just try and make it harder for the spot them. Little ships do have a less radar signature, but the closer your ships are together, the more increased it is. So he might have that to help combat that. Johnny Rico continuing firing. The FCH has been dead most of this game. Again, so he's just making sure these ships are dead. Doesn't have a better target right now. Again, he probably has 400 bullets on that thing. Maybe even more, close to 1,000, so I don't know how close he is running out. I have no idea what they're talking about in the chat right now. Again, I'm casting this game afterwards. I've thought about it. I still don't know what they're talking about. Maybe one of you guys in the chat knows what he's talking about. They'll keep firing. Keep being pretty annoying. Again, firing those shots, looking like hitting a hit or two here or there. You see some of them smoking, so he has done some damage. Well, looks like they're kind of trying to surround him. If they get all around him, it's going to be pretty hard for those cannons to turn. But those cannons are not really turning. Oh, they're turning very slowly. I don't know the turning speed, but you can get gyroscopes on your ships to help you spin them faster. But that is a space on your ship that you might not want to use. Or you don't want to have to put more crew on the ship than you need. Because if you need more crew on your ship, you have to use another space to put a berthing, which gives you more crew. Again, if you're using a big battleship, that's a lot of points. So you want to balance what you have on that ship and not waste all of it on crewmates or something. You do want to put use of things in there, things that help intelligence, weapon reload, gyroscope to help your weapons spin faster, maybe to help your power bank or your reactor use more power so you can use more weapons. Again, there's many things to consider. Johnny Rico continuing. You pretty much just sit here, open fire on whatever we can. The Orange Team, having 3 points, has 956 points. Looking like they might win this game unless the Blue Team can somehow take those points. But most of the ships they have left are heavy cruisers, which are not known for speed. Just glancing off But a bunch of hits coming on that one ship, losing probably all combat, or all offensive ability. No, it can still fire somehow. Pretty impressive, honestly, coming from a Wayne's-class ship. From the past games I've looked at, the Wayne's-class ships are actually pretty impressive when it comes to how much they can take from the full 50mm cannons. They can take a pretty good amount. The ship right there has a jammer. That's one. Yep, EWAR 1. That's electronic warfare.
The enemy is securing Zone Eclipse.
It looks like all of these guns are probably on one weapon group, so you can't separate them and have them fire at different ships. He might have been trying to fire manually there, which is somewhat difficult to do, so I don't blame him for missing. It's probably the best use of a missile squadron that I've seen after they've used all of their missiles. He is just bogging down this heavy cruiser so it cannot fire on the Johnny Rico battleship. Orange team does win though, does have 1,000 points in wins. Okay, looking at this, we see the laser pillow does 26,000 damage, which is pretty good. Some pretty serious damage done there. Looking at the man with one of the Ukrainian teams with 2 heavy cruisers. As we see, one of his ships pretty much completely destroyed, only doing 2,000 damage. One does 9,000. A light cruiser guy taken out pretty early, but the Exile Dark with those torpedoes, 26,000 damage. Very impressive. Looking at the other team, sorry for the cutoff, the Johnny Rico did do 46,000 damage. Definitely the MVP of the Orange team, helping secure that game for them. I was pretty disappointed in Laser Pew Pew, which we're going to see here in a second. Laser Pew Pew only did 6,900 damage. Pretty abysmal, honestly, for a railgun ship. He did get taken out pretty quickly by Laser Pillow and X-Iron Dark once he finally came out of the shadows. But I'd like to thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Nautilus Cast, and I hope to see you guys next time.